If the FDA can take a bag of lettuce off the market because it hurts people, why does this still have to continue? Why? It just doesn't make any sense.
A mother and father in Penn Hills say they're wading through an ocean of grief right now, but they're fighting through the pain for a purpose. They're speaking out in honor of their son's memory. Tim and Stephanie Kingerski never wanted to welcome our camera into their home, but they say they raised a loving, joyful, and loyal son, and they want people to hear his story.
At just 26 years old, Ryan Kingerski took a short time off from his job at the Penn Hills Police Department for what's considered an elective eye surgery. KDKA consumer investigator Meghan Schiller explains why his family says he never returned to that job and instead took his own life.
To know him was to love him. Ryan Kingerski lit up the room, bringing so much pride to his parents.
Witty, charming, smart, a lot of fun to be around.
They say Ryan found joy in all of his relationships, his friends, his girlfriend, his twin brother.
Just vibrant and full of life. I mean, he'd love to do stuff with family, friends. Him and I played golf on a regular basis. Him and his brother spent tons of time together.
And they say his passion for police work began as a young boy, idolizing his dad.
They wanted to be policemen since they were little boys. They were always having matchbox cars in each hand, and that they'd be a policeman when they grow up.
Once he joined the force, Ryan's parents worried about his safety, but they didn't give a second thought to him getting Lasik eye surgery.
No, we had no thought of that. He was very excited because, you know, they often tout, Lasik often touts that you go in and within 3 days,
simple and effective routine surgery.
Routine. Mm-hmm.
That he would be back to work in a couple days.
But Ryan would never put on his uniform again. After what his parents describe as a tragically unsuccessful surgery, they say Ryan struggled to resolve debilitating side effects. Headaches, floaters, dark spots, double vision.
He kept saying about how bad the pain in his head was, and he had a terrible headache and wasn't able to focus, and the vision and the blurriness and everything else, and that just continued.
Tim would drive Ryan to appointment after appointment with specialist after specialist, hoping to find someone who could ease Ryan's discomfort.
How was he doing at that point?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Disgusted,
full of regret.
Regret was the big thing.
You know,
why would they do
I remember
this to me?
playing
Why would they not tell me?
a doctor. This is a doctor that I trusted, and he went on social media. He posted his experience. They sent us a letter dropping him as a patient.
In January, Ryan took his own life.
He left us a note that said, "I can't take this anymore. Lasik took everything from me." That's the note that we got left.
That's what we were left with.
KDKA Investigates reached out to the doctor who operated on Ryan's eyes at this Lasik Plus office on McKnight Road, asking if he or anyone would sit down with us for an interview. Lasik Plus declined to do an interview, but sent us a statement saying, in part, legal requirements prevent us from speaking to the specifics of any patient, but suicide generally cannot be reduced to any single cause. To be clear, there is no clinical evidence linking suicide to Lasik eye surgery. And to our questions about how Lasik Plus addresses any potential risks, quote, each such patient is provided with a copy of the informed consent form at the preoperative appointment for review, typically days in advance of the subsequently scheduled treatment. The consent form addresses the recognized risk, benefits, and alternatives of the proposed procedure.
People are going to watch this and go, "Oh, that's this wasn't a mental health issue."
It wasn't mental health. He never
had nothing to do with mental health. So they are free to judge and say whatever they want to say. I know that my son, before the surgery, and my son after the surgery, were two completely different people.
KDKA first learned about Ryan's story on a social media platform run by Hayden Hutchkins. Hutchins experienced complications from Lasik and now spends hours each day sharing content about Lasik and stories like Ryan's.
Is Ryan's story unique in what you found?
All these people, Ryan included, like every single story that I hear, it's more or less the same. You know, this patient was told that they were perfect for this surgery that was completely safe, 99.99% success rate. So they were told they were perfect for it. And with that information, they made a decision to get it.
Ryan's dad was with him the morning of his surgery and alleges that's exactly what the doctor told him. Hutchins believes, much like his own experience, people experiencing complications afterward often feel dismissed.
And then when they experienced issues afterwards, most of the time issues that they were not told about at all, they are met with dismissal, gaslighting, that they're still healing, they'll be fine, it's nothing to worry about.
Hutchins' experience changed the trajectory of his life. He's now studying to become an optometrist with his conversations with Ryan and thousands of others as his motivation.
I just think people deserve to have more information. There's no harm in having more information. If I had seen a page like mine before getting LASIK, I would not have gotten the surgery, and that's what I want to be for other people.
500,000 Americans undergo LASIK every year. And the American Refractive Surgery Council says the complication rate is less than 1%, pointing out how successful LASIK has been for most people. But if you ask Ryan's parents, one life is too many.
I just know
They couldn't fix it.
a guy who talked about how fabulous his life was and how happy he was. We now visit in a cemetery.
Hutchins talked to Ryan on social media in the weeks leading up to Ryan's suicide. He says he's really happy that Ryan's parents are speaking out and it is getting attention, but he says he also knows of at least 4 other people who also recently took their lives following LASIK, but he says we're not hearing about them and we're not hearing their stories.
So is there any push to get people who are considering this more information up front, in advance about whatever known risks and side effects there are on record?
And that is in that consent form that we briefly mentioned in the story, right? You're supposed to get that days in advance. It'll have some of the risk, they're supposed to be outlined there, and then you can kind of weigh your options, and then you sign it right before the surgery. So Ryan's parents allege that he signed it that morning. And, when you show up the day of, you've kind of made your decision. So LASIK Plus did tell us, they do work to get it to people days in advance. So it's just a matter of, do you have the risks outlined in time, is what Ryan's parents are questioning. And also Hutchins is saying, you can go on and do research and you can look and see what the complaints are, if any, on the FDA's website. And he recommends everyone do that and don't just take someone's word for it.
Yeah, important story. Thank you, Meghan. And if you or someone you know is struggling or feel like you're in crisis, there is help. You can call or text 988. The line is open 24/7. It's free. And again, that's 988, and someone will be there for you.